It is one of the most storied venues in college basketball, and in fact was magic for the Beavers a season ago, but they have had trouble living in Ralph Miller's shadow this season. On the other hand, Oregon State has just broken a long losing streak, and history may be on their side. Washington has found this a difficult place to play. The Huskies in search tonight of a milestone victory as they tee it up at Gill Coliseum in Corvallis. Welcome into Pac-10 basketball on FSN. Brian Davis along with, well, our resident baseball expert Bill Kruger, but tonight you return to your roots.
Oh, you're right. I played 25 years ago against Ralph Miller. I was at the University of Portland and remember those great teams, Steve Johnson, Ray Bloom, Mark Radford, so it's fun to be back here.
We're glad to have you here. Let's talk some X's and O's. Washington, as everybody knows, loves to run, but Oregon State has got this habit of taking you out of your game. Sometimes you've got to find another way to win, and the Huskies did at Oregon on Thursday night. John Brockman was huge after halftime, a dozen points. Washington owned the boards, had 19 offensive rebounds, and Brockman was a big part of that, especially in the closing minutes as he made a couple of big plays to salt the ball game away. Huskies win that one by 3. So for Brockman, another weapon for Lorenzo Romar in Washington.
Well, he's a highly touted player, a McDonald's All-American. He's starting to make his presence felt offensively, but what he brings to this team is a relentless thirst for the basketball. He leads this team in rebounding, and a smallish Washington team, they need that from Brockman.
Brockman as a true freshman, a big part of the storyline for the Beavers as well. Brett Casey will start again at point guard. The Beavers have really struggled without the injured senior Lamar Hurd, so this is Casey's team.
Yeah, big shoes to step in. A local kid from Crescent Valley High School, led the 4A in scoring last year. He has got to be able to get them into offense, and he did very well against Washington State. 31 minutes, only 1 turnover, and he's going to see, Brian, more pressure than he's ever seen in his life. If he does it again, Oregon State's got a great chance.
Oregon State turned the ball over 28 times in Seattle. Turnovers, rebounding, a big deal here tonight. Now both sides have their main men. For the Huskies, it is the reigning Pac-10 Player of the Week, Brandon Roy. In fact, the last poor game that Roy had was in January against the Beavers in Seattle. For Oregon State, Sasha Chewich is coming off a 23-point game against Washington State. Tip-off next in Corvallis. They are back in force here at the Gill Coliseum. Some dry years, but Jay John coached Oregon State into the NIT a season ago, so this house that holds about 10,000 fans will have close to that in this building tonight. Take a look at the lineups for Washington, which comes into the ballgame 4th in the Pac-10. Brandon Roy, in conference play, is the leading scorer in the Pac-10 at 22.5 games. Another freshman, Justin Dentman, has recovered from a disastrous moment at Stanford and has played well the last couple of weeks. Lorenzo Romar did not panic when Washington lost 3 consecutive ball games in the heart of the Pac-10 schedule. If Washington wins tonight, or in any case, their next victory will give them 20 in consecutive seasons for the first time since 1984-85. Chris Stevens normally and has started every game for the Beavers out of the lineup tonight as a disciplinary measure. So the sophomore, Angelo Sakarakis, will start next to Casey at guard. Nick DeWitt, the Pac-10's leading shot blocker for Jay John, who, because of his performance last season, the 17-15 finish, was rewarded with a contract extension that will take him for the next 5 seasons. Well earned, and he's very excited about the future. Lamar Hurd has missed the last couple of weeks because of a groin injury, and since he went down in what turned out to be a loss against Arizona State, Oregon State is 2-8. The hometown kid, the freshman Brett Casey, starting tonight at the point for the Beavers.
Yeah, tall order for Brett. He's going to have to handle pressure.
Off the tip, Roy starts Washington, which likes to run, but started 0 for 11 on January 19th at Seattle against the Beavers. Bobby Jones on the touch. Jensen gets a chance and has it shot, blocked by Nick DeWitt. He is, as we mentioned, the best shot blocker in the Pac-10, and there's a signature right there.
That was great weak side help by DeWitt on the double team on the screen and roll. He came out of nowhere to block that ball.
Roy curling to the baseline, off the glass, rebound to Kyle Jeffers, the junior out of Santa Rosa, California. Oregon State trying to run. Now they'll slow it down and play half court.
And that's what they need to do. They need to get a quality shot every time down the floor.
Casey pinned along the baseline. Back out for Sakarakis, who will shoot it from anywhere. Loses the ball out of bounds.
And that's a real critical issue. Having sat out last year with a shoulder injury, he's never got in rhythm with his shot, but you can't stay on the floor if you turn the basketball over.
Sakarakis, the sophomore out of suburban Paris. Big men swinging it from the arc. Inside, the pass floated in for Brandon Roy, and Sakarakis is called for pushing off on Roy before he receives the pass.
Yeah, trying to front Brandon Roy, and you know, Brandon, he's a great post-up player. He can score in a lot of different places on the floor. The interesting thing about this game is he's going to be challenged at the rim by Oregon State's size.
Roy has scored in double figures in 7 consecutive games, the last 6 at 20 plus. The sweep of the Los Angeles schools and the way Roy played a role in that earned him honors as Pac-10 Player of the Week just passed.
Beavers in 2-3 zone on the out of bounds.
Jensen with nowhere to go. Roy shows and goes and again can't get much on the shot, and the rebound is knocked out of bounds to Oregon State.
And that's exactly what's happened. He's broke the defense down, but getting to the rim, you're seeing the challenge of the shot blockers has affected his ability to knock that shot down.
Huskies 0 for 3 from the floor to start this ball game. I mentioned they were 0 for 11 in Seattle, but the Beavers turned the ball over 28 times, and Washington wound up winning that game, albeit by 4 points. Oregon State knew it would get pressure in the backcourt. Jewich's first touch into DeWitt's along the baseline, hemmed in. Jewich closely guarded by Jensen. Nowhere to go. Told you Sakarakis likes to put it up from anywhere. He is an 18% three-point shooter, but you can count that one.
And that was NBA distance right there, Brian. But he can shoot it. He just hasn't had a chance to play enough to get it going.
Well, anywhere includes Mars. Denton reverses field underneath for Jones. Great feed, good finish for Bobby Jones.
Boy, heady pass by Denton.
Freshman out of Carbondale, Illinois. Jeffers with a big pick on Denton to give Casey a little bit of operating room.
That's a good decision right there. Back it out, get into their little three-man, big-man game, and see if they can get the ball inside.
There are certain things that will not work against Washington defensively. Jay John does not want to ball screen tonight. What else?
Well, you're going to have to meet the basketball. Washington's going to overplay passing lanes, and they're very, very good at challenging for the ball. You got to step through the pass. Otherwise, Washington's going to step in and get that pass.
Sakarakis shoves off. That's 2 in a hurry. I expect we'll see Chris Stevens shortly.
Yeah, you got to play solid basketball. And in Sakarakis' case, make the open shot, keep it simple, and defend.
Here's Chris Stevens, the senior out of Portland, played at Madison High School. He had started every game but showed up late to practice, and so started the ball game on the bench. He is very close to the Beavers' all-time record for three-point shooting. Field goals made. Roy doubled along the baseline, takes it back outside. Denton left alone just a little bit by Casey and buries the three. Denton not much of a three-point shooter at 21%, but he gives the Huskies the lead.
Yeah, he can make that open shot and create more space for his teammates. That's a great hit.
Here's Brockman overplaying the passing lane and the flush.
How about that?
Runs pretty well for a big man.
Baby. That's getting to the bucket in a hurry and cramming it down.
Now, Jay John is beside himself.
And you're seeing a guy taking off that's 6'8", 240 pounds, about pulled the bucket down. That's a great athletic play for that size of guy right there, Brian.
Washington is a very physical team, and John's point after the basket was made was that Brockman created the opportunity in the steal with a foul.
and he might have a legitimate case, but you know something? This is a physical league, and you've got to step in, and as I mentioned, you have to step to the basketball in order to receive it. If you wait for the ball to come, that's the type of thing that Washington preys upon.
John, the longtime assistant to Lute Olson at Arizona, told his guys this morning, this is a big game. Look at the reaction after Brockman's score.
Now, you're right. He was intense today in practice. I mean, he was chewing on guys. He was fired up and ready to go at 2 o'clock this afternoon.
Well, what we're seeing in the main, because this team does not get blown out a lot. When you're going to play Jay John's Oregon State team, which is second in the Pac-10 in field goal defense, bring your lunch bucket, because it is going to be an all-day job. There are no gimmies, and you go back to the Lamar Hurd injury and where they were at the time. They had just beaten Cal on the road, had gone to Arizona, had beaten the Wildcats. Hurd gets hurt in the Arizona State game. Arizona, as of today, coming in against their game against Cal, had 3 Pac-10 victories and 2 were against the Beavers. That's what happens when that guy Lamar Hurd right there is sitting on the bench on the injury list with a groin injury.
Yeah, you just took the ship and took away the rudder, and they're searching for it ever since he left the lineup with that groin injury. 9 ball games.
John earned himself a technical foul, putting Brandon Roy at the free throw line. He is a 79%er. He is the complete ball player. He is top 10. Roy is in 8 different categories in the Pac-10, both sides of the ball.
A stat sheet stuffer. And a chance to be the Pac-10 player of the year, I think. He's making a legitimate case.
Casey, bothered by Dentman. Floating pass for Chuich underneath. Works on Jensen, scores. No, stepped on the baseline. Washington ball.
Boy, that's a great vision lob pass by Casey. Chuich, very crafty around the hoop. You know, he's been an excellent scorer over the last 6 ball games. Been over 24 times, but unfortunately stepped on the baseline.
Washington now 3 of 6. Oregon State has only taken 1 field goal attempt. Roy knocks one down.
A little too easy. You're going to have to close out better than that on Brandon Roy.
Oregon State near the bottom of the Pac-10 at 16 turns a game, but Nick DeWitt, like a big guy who can face up and drop the long ball. DeWitt scores from 3.
Don't be surprised that guy can knock that shot down. You know, he shot over 50% from 3 last year.
Mike Jensen right back at you. Jensen, a 31% three-point shooter. So all of a sudden the guys with the lesser numbers are stepping up big here. Huskies by 8. Jensen making his 4th start of the season. Reach-in foul is called, earning some derisive cheers here from the fans at Gill Coliseum. Washington having to work, but getting it done. 4.5 minutes in, Huskies by 8. Kruger in Corvallis, Washington, trying to solidify its bid for a 3rd consecutive NCAA tournament bid. First time that would have happened since 1984, 85, 86.
The Detlef Schrempf days.
The Detlef Schrempf, the glory days under Marv Harshman, Lorenzo Romar's mentor. Oregon State, as Stevens brings the ball inbounds and gets it right back from Jeffers. If they shot the ball a little bit more, blocking foul called on the baseline. If they shot the ball a little bit more, they might be a little bit closer, because they are 2 for 2, but of course it's a chicken or egg thing. They're not getting many opportunities because of the Huskies defense.
Is it empty possessions because of turnovers? And that's the mystery of the Oregon State Beavers. You know, they're out shooting their opponents by a wide margin, but they have 200 less shot attempts.
Perry, 5th to Casey from the corner, rimming out.
He can make that shot.
Off that feed from Kyle Jeffers. Jones for 3. Count that. Washington 3 of 3 beyond the arc. 6 of 9 overall, and Oregon State had best hurry.
They're going to have to do a better job of helping and closing out. Bobby Jones, a much improved 3-point shooter. He wasn't much of a shooter when he got to Washington, but he's improved a great deal.
Stevens is a man who really misses Lamar Hurd. We'll elaborate. Chuich now working on Jensen in the post, forces one up, count it, and this time Chuic will get a chance to make the three-point play. Sasha Chuic, the sophomore from Croatia, fouled by Jamal Williams.
And this is where Oregon State needs to get to. They need Chuic and DeWitt down deep, a small Washington front line, and try to get him into foul trouble. A nice pump fake and a nice finish from Sasha.
Chuic is #1 in the Pac-10 conference and three-point field goal percentage. Completes the three-point play. Had 23 points against Washington State. Scored a career-high 24 against UCLA recently. Denton is long. Rebound is tipped right back to him. Roy. Jensen left alone for three. Washington is 4 out of 5 beyond the arc. Jensen's got 2 of the 4.
Yeah, that's what they do, though. They're so good on the offensive glass. The best offensive rebounding team in the Pac-10. But Brandon Roy, such a complete basketball player. At 6'6", able to go cross-court over the top against the zone. And there's Mike Jensen lining one up again. He's got the hot hand.
Roy averages 4 assists a game to go along with 19.5 points and 5+ rebounds. Wesley Washington, sophomore guard in the ball game, feeding Chuic for 3.
Incredible shooting from the three-point line, Brian, by the big guys.
Sometimes you have to find another way to win. Marcel Jones, one of the better rebounders in the Pac-10, gets up in Roy's face and alters the shot. Rebound to the Beavers, and Roy is called for the reach-in on top of that. That's Brandon Roy's first personal foul, 3rd team foul.
Seems pretty meaningless at this point, but those are unnecessary fouls when you're a star player. And you can get one like that and then one legit. You get 2 in the first half, you got to sit down. So you really can't, get those ticky-tackers.
Oregon State is usually out-rebounded, has gotten more than the other guy in only 8 games this season. Stevens needs a timeout. Point is that they have won 7 of those 8 games, and right now the Beavers have an advantage off the glass, 4-2.
30-second timeout.
Oh, you're right. I mean, but they've got to maintain that integrity on the glass because Washington is a terrific rebounding team. They're quick to the basketball, and that's what makes a difference. That's what makes you a great rebounder. Oregon State having to call timeout right there, Brian. They went on a dribble rub, and what happened? Washington went with that overplay defense, trapped the basketball, forced Oregon State to call timeout.
Washington came into the ball game averaging 83 points a game, but have hit 80 only one time their last 9. Here is the history here in Corvallis. Remember last year, Beavers went to Seattle, got blown out. Washington beat them by 40, scored 108 points, most they've ever scored against a Pac-10 opponent. And then the Beavers returned the favor here. Chris Stevens, the senior, needs 3 3-pointers to set an all-time school record, but he misses Hurd. 6 games now scoring in single digits. This is the guy that averages 12.5 points a game. Washington puts the ball on the floor. Jensen reaches in and then knocks him down. Or was that Denton who will be called with the personal? It is.
Number 42, Mike Jensen is first.
That call goes, and that's a lot of posturing that Jay John had to go through. He gave up the 2 free throws technical, but he made the officials realize that Washington is going to be reaching and grabbing.
Decent ball rotation. Chuic again. Loading one up. He's got that high release that is tough to guard, isn't it?
Especially when you're 6'10".
Huskies take time.
30 seconds. Timeout.
With the 6-point lead, take a look at Sasha Chuic. Lorenzo Romar knew his guys would have their hands full.
You're right. I mean, he's a terrific inside-outside player, and when you have that kind of size and that kind of range, and then you can shoot a little bit on the fadeaway, you see Mike Jensen slow and closing out. That's a really great weapon, and Sasha Chuic is really feeling it right now. His confidence is growing. You know, he's shooting 50% from the three-point line. He's been over 20 points for the last 6 ball games. He's become the go-to guy for the Beavers.
We looked at the history of the Huskies in this building. Remember, in 1984, check that, not 84, 2004, they're down 16 with 6 minutes and change to play. They come back, win that ball game in overtime. That was the game folks say turned the Huskies program around. Since then, they're 62-15.
Yeah, they just didn't know how good they were, and they were, you know, floundering at that point. And boy, that was a real important game in the history of Wilmar basketball.
Ryan Appleby, the three-point specialist, misses. Rebound, Jamal Williams steps on the baseline, and Washington has turned the ball over just a couple of times, but it has hurt them. Brockman back on the floor for Washington. Jensen and Brandon Roy take a seat, so you've got Williams, Jones, Appleby, Brockman, and Dentman. Stevens puts it on the floor, blows past Appleby. Tough shot!
And that's what he's got to do. Everybody's playing him for the perimeter shot. Chris Stevens, little pump fake, and made a real nice play along the baseline.
Williams squares and fires over DeWitt's. Marcel Jones with the rebound.
And he is a quick jumper that can really match the Husky quick jumper.
Puts it up, and a blocking foul inside. So the Beavers get a chance to go again to the free throw line. Oregon State on a 7-0 run. On a 7-point run, they are 6 of 7 from the floor.
They're shooting a blistering, what is that, 80-some odd, 85%. Boy, talk about being in the zone like that guy right there. He's in the zone, huh?
You're talking about the coach or the kid?
The kid. You saw those eyes wide open. Basket looks as big as a, you know, a big old barrel. Marcel
Jones was fouled by Ryan Appleby, and so we'll go to the free throw line. Jones, this is not his strong suit. As soon as I say that, he hits one. 56%.
It's the
Jones,
reverse. Usually it's, you know, the guy that shoots 95% that you jinx.
He had a double-double at Seattle, 14 points and 10 rebounds. Had 12 points the other night against Washington State. The 8 games in between, he scored in single digits, converts both there. It's a 9-point run now for the Beavers.
And we got a game.
Well, they did get going.
Yes, they did.
And another turnover for the Huskies. Dentman anticipates the pass and then pushes Washington, and Dentman has now committed 2 fouls. He's going to sit Brandon Roy back onto the floor.
Brandon's going to have more ball handling responsibility. Ryan Appleby really is more of a true number 2. Doesn't handle the ball a great deal.
Kyle Jeffers replaces Chewich in Oregon State's lineup. And Wesley Washington will go back to the free throw line to shoot 2. Washington, a sophomore out of Long Beach, California. Went to Mater Dei High School and then spent a little time at Compton Community College. Compton, California, Lorenzo Romar's hometown.
Yeah, I saw a lot of guys coming up and talking to Lorenzo. You're talking about a number of guys. Jones is from that area. Of course, Bobby Jones.
Run continues.
Quite a basketball area.
Yes, indeed. Run continues, and we're tied.
I meant to say Marcel Jones. He's from down there also.
Appleby kicks it out to Brockman. Bothered by Jeffers. Loses the ball and then pushes off. Brockman is called for the personal foul. His second.
And that's got to be a real concern. Frontline players. Oregon State has so much size. Washington can ill afford to get their big guys in foul trouble.
DeWitt sets the screen, gets it back and feeds Stevens. He's long. Appleby with the rebound. Jones appeared to slip as he received the pass, but delivers to Williams, who scores. And back at the other end, Marcel Jones is injured.
It's either knee or he's got a really bad calf cramp.
Beavers athletic trainer comes out to check him out. Welcome to our viewers who have just watched Arizona State knock off California in double overtime. With Bill Kruger, Brian Davis at Guild Coliseum in Corvallis, where Oregon State went on an 11-point run to tie the ball game. Washington now back up by a deuce. One of the Beavers' main men, Marcel Jones, has suffered a leg injury that has stopped play here, and Jones requiring assistance off the floor, putting nothing on the left foot.
Yeah, that doesn't look very good, and he's a guy the Beavers think very highly of, a very athletic three-wing type player that has shown promise to be a real top-flight scorer in this league. Let's hope it's not anything serious.
Well, there's a guy who had the double-double against the Huskies in Seattle, is 5th in the Pac-10 at 7 rebounds a game, and you also take 8.5 points off the board as well.
But Oregon State's rallied back in this game. They're playing in rhythm. They're shooting the ball at a 75% clip against this very good Washington defensive club. In fact, both teams, Brian, are just shooting the heck out of the basketball, particularly from the three-point line.
This has been a game of runs. Brandon Roy helped spark the Huskies to a 14-3 burst that was then countered by that 11-point run for Oregon State. Wesley Washington with Roy on him. Washington tries the bounce pass, is kicked by Roy. Jay John said no bounce passes. Bad things will happen against a team that plays defensively as aggressively as Washington does.
That goes back to the guy that named this court, Mr. Ralph Miller. He very much disdained the bounce pass.
Beavers have limited the turnovers, 4, and most of those in the early couple of minutes. Washington has committed the last 3 of the ball game. 10 seconds to shoot now. Stevens looking for a screen from DeWitt, who has had trouble getting involved, and a holding foul is called off the play. And Oregon State is in the bonus, 1-1. Brockman commits his 3rd personal foul. Romar's going to have to go get him. Jensen will replace him. Jeffers will go to the free throw line.
Lorenzo taking a risk right there, leaving Brockman in with 2 fouls, and he immediately picks up his 3rd. That's critical. When you look at the Oregon State front line, Huskies can ill afford to have fouls with their big guys.
Lane violation.
Lane violation.
Dentman, I think, stepped in. Romar
Brett Casey checks back in for the Beavers.
pained. Romar is not a guy who will light his guys up, but every now and then it looks like somebody slipped him some castor oil.
Well, I think he's a high-intensity coach. I think he's a player's coach, but you feel his presence when you're playing for him.
Jeffers buries the 2nd chance and now has an opportunity to tie the ball game. Beavers 6 of 6 on charity. Make it 6 of 7, but they've taken 5 more free throws than the Huskies, and Jay John knew coming in that was something that would have to happen as well for these guys to have a chance.
Getting the ball inside and forcing the Huskies to foul.
Roy reverses direction and scores over his man.
And he's a tough match. At 6'6", he normally gets a guy that's smaller than him, and you can see his skill as he works his way into the lane.
Touch pass inside for Jeffers from DeWitt, and a strong finish for Kyle Jeffers. Defender got a hand on the ball, and he was still able to get it done. Great feed from DeWitt.
DeWitt is a gifted player. He can do a lot of things, and one of them that's underrated is his passing ability.
Roy spins away from the double team. Jones for three is short, shot and air ball. Last touch though by Stevens. Washington keeps possession with 13 seconds to shoot.
Oregon State very long on defense, particularly DeWitt, to come out and challenge people's perimeter shots. Make the Huskies think a little bit.
Huskies from long range, 4 of 8. They made their first 3. So what is that? 1 of 5. Roy, sweet touch, floats one down as he drives into the lane and back to a 3-point ball game in Washington's favor.
Yeah, he's so very good on the bounce going into the lane.
Brett Casey, the freshman point guard, drives and scoops, can't finish, but he'll shoot a pair. And Brandon Roy, the official says, knocked him upside the head as it goes to the scorer's table, and Roy has committed a couple personals here.
When you get overplay, there are times when you must attack the defense to make them pay for that overplay, and there I thought Brett made a nice decision to take the ball into the lane, was athletic enough to draw the foul.
Brett Casey, the son of Oregon State baseball coach Pat Casey, a walk-on, a true freshman, a hometown kid from Corvallis, who is being asked to pick up the slack for the senior point guard Lamar Hurd, without whom the Beavers have gone 2 of 8. Casey splits the difference on his free throws. Picks up Ryan Appleby across the timeline. Jensen catches and shoots from beyond the arc. Strong rebound for Jeffers. Beavers with a chance in transition. Stevens spots up and fires, and then Jeffers is fouled on the rebound. Stevens stopped and popped. He had a man open on the baseline.
Yeah, he did. It was an open 3-point ball for a guy that can really make threes, but the big thing is that Oregon State is getting in position for the rebound. Their size is really starting to take its effect on the game. Jeffers, DeWitt, and Chewich are really attacking the basket, and now that Washington's struggling with fouls and their size, it's becoming a big problem.
Second foul on Jensen. Washington has committed as a team
Joel Smith checking in for Washington.
10. So the Beavers, for every common foul now, for half of the half, will shoot 2. Oregon State has committed only 3 fouls. Jefferson Long with the second, Jones the rebound. Joel Smith, sophomore guard from Lompoc, California, for Appleby. Roy sends Jensen to the other side. Smith off the bounce pass. Sweet little left-handed floater for 3.
He can really shoot the 3-point ball. Joel Smith has to sit on the bench a lot and not have those opportunities, but with fouls, he's going to have that chance today.
Stevens throws the ball away. Casey just wasn't ready for the pass. Didn't even raise his hands, and you see Stevens come away kind of, hey, just put your hands up. It'll be okay.
And that's the key part for Oregon State is guard play, initiating offense, getting the ball to their scoring people in the right spot. And you can see when they do, they're scoring at a very effective clip.
Roy mishandles the pass, and it did hit the sideline. 4th Huskies turnover. Oregon State ball. How big a home court advantage is this when they're back? There are many in the house. They're loud. Remember, the Beavers last year were 12-2 here on the Ralph Miller court. Take a look at that rebounding note. Right now, Washington with a 9-6 advantage. Jeffers, contact, loses control. Roy in transition. Smith, deep 2, put back. The tip in for Brandon Roy, who suddenly has 8 points on 3 of 6 shooting, 4 assists as well. Nice pass inside Jeffers, but Jeffers walked with the basketball, and so now we're tied. Huskies have asserted themselves and have taken a 6-point lead over Brett Casey and J. John's Beavers. College basketball on FSN is brought to you by Dodge. Grab life by the horns. And by Quest, the spirit of service. Brian Davis and Bill Kruger At Gill Coliseum in Corvallis last year, the Beavers to the NIT after a 17-15 season, their first true postseason appearance since 1990.
And a storied program. It's good to see, honestly, the program getting back to that level. They got a long ways to go. They kind of tripped back this year. They haven't been able to command their home floor. Part of it's injury, but I think Jay John has got them going in the right direction. With the Tarver kids coming in next year, I think they're going in the right direction. They're going to get better.
They've got a terrific recruiting class. Seth Tarver out of Portland, and his brother Josh is actually redshirting this season. Roy, nice pass inside from Bobby Jones. In fact, a sweet pass from Jones to
no
Roy.
ball pressure, and Washington staying in a front. There just isn't any way. That's inexcusable. You've got to move around the other side on him and side him the other way.
5 of 8, Roy with a game-high 12 points.
And they have no answer for Brandon Roy right now.
Chewich has to give it up again. Chewich and DeWitch, their two main scorers, have had trouble getting involved in this game. Chewich gets a little separation. Jones closes well, though. 3 seconds to shoot. They got to hurry. And Jeffers forces one up too late.
Great defensive sequence by the Huskies. They applied pressure without fouling, forced the clock violation.
Jeffers was not the guy you wanted taking that shot. He had not attempted a three-pointer and only did there because it was a bailout situation. So Washington up 8 now, has a chance to regain a double-digit lead. Nice read by Washington and the steal by the Beavers. Washington drives, kicks to Chewich in the corner for 3. Sasha
really shoot the ball facing up. Can he for a big guy?
4 for 4, 2 of 2 beyond the arc. Roy runs into the double team. He'll try it again. Washington reaches in and commits the personal foul. Beavers do have fouls to give.
Brandon Roy is a load. You know, at 6'6", he can face the basket, put it on the ground, drive to the hoop, he can post up. And right now, the Beavers have no player outside of probably Marcel Jones that could handle him, that has the quickness and the size. So you're going to see Brandon down in that low block a lot more.
On the inbounds, Williams with an air ball. He was bothered by the defender in front of him. Now inside, DeWitz loses the basketball off the feed from Washington.
No room to bounce the ball right there. You got to catch and go up.
8 turnovers now for Oregon State. That momentum has swung. Williams gets it back and finds everything but the net, but then on the putback comes Bobby Jones.
Best offensive rebounding team in the Pac-10, and shows it again.
Smith commits the foul. So Bobby Jones riding Tonto there. He looked a lot like the Lone Ranger flying into the lane like that.
Well, you know, offensive rebounding isn't always about size. It's about being able to slide in the cracks and find where the ball is going to come off and how quick you can get off the floor. And you saw Bobby Jones is off the floor. Oregon State, they're on the floor. Quick jumping.
Jones with 7 points and 3 assists. Marcel Jones. Fans very happy here. Jay John also.
That's such a relief. You know, when he went down initially, it was before we came on the air, I said, it's a cramp. And then the way he walked off, you thought it was a blown knee, but clearly it was a calf cramp. That's good.
Washington's free throw makes it a half-dozen-point margin. Brett Casey takes a seat. They've got Chris Stevens working the point now. Smith, pass was not read by Denton. DeWitz comes away with it, and Smith gets it right back. Candy from a baby for Jamal Williams.
Soft passes. You can't throw soft passes.
Washington has his shot. Well, Smith's going to be called for the foul. There was body contact, but when the arm went up, all Smith got was ball.
Yeah, but he was able to get up underneath his arms and get a little contact before that, which is, you know, that's years and years of playing on the playground right there, Brian. A little bit of a force, but a good outcome.
Oregon State is 10 of 14 from the free throw line. Missed free throws were part of the story in Seattle on January 19th. Washington, actually, it was Washington's missed free throws, 16 of 28. Oregon State was 23 of 28. Another pair dropped there, and it's a 6-point game again. What Oregon State needs here now is a stop. Smith, bounce pass, deflected. Stevens away with the ball. Nice feed in for DeWitts for the flush.
Great pass and really a poor job of transition defense by the Huskies.
DeWitt's 2 of 2, 5 points. Williams posting up Chewich. Has it slapped away. Roy, a little faster than Stevens to the ball, right back to the rack, and everything but the finish. Brandon Roy will shoot a pair of free throws.
A little delay break right here. Stevens bringing the ball up. Has a great vision to pick up Nick DeWitts all alone under the basket. A very nice left-handed, one-handed pass. You can see his eyes. He clearly picks up DeWitts early, and there's the flush.
Roy, well on his way to another 20-point ball game. Chris Stevens out of Madison High School in Portland. One thing, well, he's had to change his game. He's distributing tonight as he's spending time at the 1. He sits 1 3-pointer shy of Gary Payton for second all-time. The Oregon State record book. Only a pair shy of the all-time guy, DeAndre Tanner.
Dino Tanner, he's a heck of a player.
Lazy pass. Washington maintains possession. They want a travel call, won't get it. Roy can't get it to drop. Chewich with the rebound for Oregon State. He didn't walk, he slipped about 3 feet, I think. Chewich looks inside for DeWitts. The ball slapped away and out of bounds. So Oregon State showing tough, but down by 6 with 3 and change remaining first half. Huskies by a half dozen with 3 minutes and a little more on the clock in the first half at Ralph Miller Court. Moving the ball, Oregon State is with some confidence.
That was a tremendous pass. I don't know how he got it to Sasha in the corner. And of course, he shoots 50% from the 3-point line. And again, the little high-low look. Sewage with the fadeaway, knocking it down again. When Oregon State makes things happen correctly in their offense, they've been very, very good. They just don't get as many attempts. Well, that's the difference in the game right now.
That's a great point. They got 7 assists on 9 made baskets, but 9 of 13. Washington has taken 29 field goal attempts.
And those are second chance points because they're great offensive rebounding club.
Cross out that 3-point number you just saw as Appleby drops another. Huskies are 6 of 11. And it's back to a 9-point advantage.
And that guy's in range as soon as he walks in the gym. Let me tell you, and he knows it too. 100% confidence, Ryan Appleby. He can really shoot it.
Stevens needed a cleaner screen than that. Behind the back for Washington, a foul called underneath. A little bit of get that stuff out of here. As the defender rises up and slaps the ball away, but the play was dead beforehand.
Stevens looks stymied, but a little French pastry behind the back pass. Able to draw the foul.
Jamal Williams closed so fast from the backside, but the bottom line is that Wesley Washington will shoot another pair. He is 5 of 6. Dentman charged with his third personal foul. Brockman has 3 for Washington, and that is something that bears watching. Brandon Burmeister, the junior out of Mercer Island High School outside Seattle, checks in. Dad Bob, former Husky football player, is in the house. Of course, I think when Brandon's playing, the Huskies are playing, I'm not sure that Bob is not in the house, ever. Washington splits the difference. 8-point game.
Well, Lorenzo, he doesn't mind playing guys with 2 fouls, and now Brockman and Dentman both have 3. Used that 2-foul rule in the first half. He doesn't believe in that.
Burmeister for Roy. 11 assists on 17 made baskets, and Brandon Roy with a game-high 16 points. Jones curls off a screen and makes the best of it. And another injured player. That's Washington down on the deck. It has been a very physical basketball game. Jay John and Kevin Mouton, his assistant, looking on here. See if we can find it here.
Something on the weak side here.
There's Washington. Oh, man, gets hammered.
Collided with the forearm from Brandon Roy.
And Roy kind of looked at him.
Got his bell rung there.
Roy kind of looked at him as if to say, it's like hockey, don't put your head down. You're going to get whacked.
When you come in to rebound, you need to have your hands up.
It's interesting. Washington likes to run, but they also play so physically. Here's Appleby on the ball. Ryan Appleby coming into the ball game tonight. 128 of his 149 field goal attempts have been from 3. Back to your point about, and there he goes. He's in range as soon as he gets into the gym. But this time the ball's going the other direction.
Because we asked Lorenzo, do you ever have anybody that had that many of his total attempts be from the 3-point line? He sat there for a minute and he said, no.
Yeah.
He's unique. He's a gunner. But you know what? With this club, he's a good fit.
Casey. Sakarakis got into early foul trouble when he made the start for Stevens. Jones along the baseline. DeWitt gets a second chance but can't pay it off. Jones can't control, and here comes Roy. Burmeister for 3. A little bit long. Marcel Jones with the defensive rebound. DeWitt stops and pops along the baseline. Didn't get a chance because he mishandled the ball to get set.
Not a good look right there. You know, transition basket that's wide open, but there on the baseline, not a good look.
Jones blocked by DeWitt.
Again, we see the good ball fake by Bobby Jones, but Nick DeWitt is an artist at blocking shots. Even though he was beat in the play, able to recover and knock that ball out of bounds. DeWitt's the senior from Chandler, Arizona. This is the first time since high school that he's played consecutive seasons in the same place. Williams checks out for Washington. Hans Gasser from Issaquah High School into the ball game and with the ball now. Another State of Washington player. And Lorenzo's got a boatload of them on this team. Huskies have to reset. 5 seconds to shoot. Roy doesn't need a lot of space, but doesn't get a good shot. Rebound Chewich. The length of Marcel Jones. He's able to get up and challenge Roy's shot. Casey to Jones in the corner. For 3, won't fall. It's short. Not a good look at that point. 40 seconds to go. You know, they were doing a pretty good job in their half court. Right. And suddenly they've kind of burped up a couple of shots where they probably just needed to reset and run their stuff. Huskies with a chance to make it a double-digit margin at halftime. 8 seconds difference between game and shot clock, so the Beavers will get another touch. Off the rub from Gasser. Roy into traffic. Dumps it back out to Gasser with 5 to shoot. Rebound Chewich. Beavers had best hurry now. Sakarakis, I think he lost track of how much time was on the clock. Shows and goes and draws the foul. Pretty heady. That was a bailout right there. And Martin's
Dakota, the official, is explaining himself to Bobby Jones. That's his second. Sakarakis was completely out of control.
Well, you know, he had no place to go. He was looking shot all the way, but couldn't get any room. But pretty smart play on his part to pump fake and draw the foul.
Made his first collegiate start tonight. Hit the first basket of the game, a three-pointer. Only averages 8 minutes a game. And because he was beyond the arc, of course, he gets 3 cracks at it. Before these right here, he had taken 4 free throws all season, had made all 4, but misses 2 here. Time expires. Oregon State a little bit ragged, but the Huskies in foul trouble, giving Oregon State a chance to go to the line. The Beavers within 7.
And that's what's keeping Oregon State in the game is their ability to get the foul line. They just got to convert those foul shots. But Washington having its way on the offensive glass, and that's where the separation in this ball game is. And of course, Brandon Roy has been special.
Jay John following his injured point guard Brandon Hurd off the floor. His guys have given the Beavers a chance at the break. Great entertainment here. Great band here at Oregon State.
How about that little dodgeball? That was a little flashback to my earlier days.
Needed a helmet. Sometimes they needed helmets on the floor in the first half here. Washington got to work early.
Yeah, Brandon Roy, you know, he's just at 6'6". Nobody can handle him. Washington, Casey, too small. He shot right over the top of him. And then able to attack the glass. We talked about their offensive rebounding prowess. And then when you come to help on Roy, he's very good at finding his teammates. 16 points, 5 assists at halftime. You know, he shows why he should be a Player of the Year candidate in this league.
A dozen assists on 17 made baskets. Again, Washington 17 of 35 compared to 10 of 18 for the Beavers. But again, they have made some strides. Whether they've got enough remains to be seen, but Hewitt is doing what he can.
Yeah, Sausage was terrific the first half. In fact, perfect. 4 for 4 from the floor. He made 2 for 2 from the three-point line. He was outstanding. They just didn't get enough attempts. Wesley Washington here, a terrific pass to find him for his second three-pointer in the corner. As I mentioned, perfect half, not enough attempts. When Oregon State's able to get the ball down deep, whether it's Jeffers or DeWitts or Chewich, they've gotten a lot of payoff because they've either gotten fouls on the Huskies or they've been able to convert. Their percentage is very good, Brian, but they need more attempts.
Take a look at the Oregon State leaderboard. 7 assists on 10 made baskets for the Beavers, and Chewich and Oregon State in business to start the second half. Nick DeWitts needs more touches. DeWitts only had 4 shots in the first half. Casey's pass tipped away and stolen by Brandon Roy. 13th turnover for Oregon State. Jensen hit a 3 in the first half and knocks one down to start the second. Washington's lead just like that, back to double digits.
Great pass out by Bobby Jones, and Mike Jensen is a terrific standstill three-point shooter.
Take a look at the numbers in the first half. 3-point shooting, turnovers. Remember, Oregon State committed 28 in Seattle in January, so they are better there. But you take a look at the rebounding. 8 of Washington's first half rebounds, 8 of the 17 were on the offensive glass.
11 second chance points to 1 for Oregon State. There's your separation.
Jeffers floats for Chewich, knocks one down off the glass.
That's a nice post-to-post play right there, and that's what Oregon State needs. They need to get the ball in deep in the paint.
Roy from Denton.
Boy, there's a front, nobody there to help. That's just way too easy. I really think Marcel Jones has got to come in and play Brandon Roy. He's the only one that can.
Washington foul on number 40.
Brockman picks up his 4th.
His 4th personal, first team foul.
We've played 1 minute and 13 seconds, so Jamal Williams will get some more playing time. Williams was the starter until Romar started bringing him off the bench against USC. DeWitt's breaking down Williams. Casey had 1 assist and 1 turnover, the freshman, in the first half. Stevens driving the lane, and well, I'll tell you what, was that a dollar move and a 5-cent finish?
That's exactly right.
Speaking of no defense, exhibits A and B.
Electric offensive rebounding team there. Bobby Jones flying in from the free throw line with both hands over the cup to tip it in.
Well, Roy left alone in the corner, and then nobody boxed out.
You know, size is great, but quickness and jumping ability is a whole other thing.
Stevens for 3, shot an air ball. Huskies really aggressive, and Oregon State, for as much as they did in the first half defensively, they're not showing the same sort of intensity.
No, they've come out a little bit flat-footed. They've got to find that energy to get up to where Washington is.
Casey on the drive and dish for DeWitt. Now there's a little something.
That was a great pass on the bounce by Brett Casey. Good vision.
Williams looking to post up Jeffers. Little leaner off the glass and down.
He's one of the better 6'5" interior type post-up players in the country. Jamal Williams
shoots 51%.
Oh, he's very crafty in the post.
Was a little inconsistent, which is one of the reasons why that Romar sent him to the bench. But and Jones with the steal, and then is grabbed by Jeffers, knocked down.
It's just slow, telegraphing passes. Washington playing those passing lanes, taking away. You've got to be able to reverse the basketball and then dump the ball in. You've got to move the ball. You can't stand and telegraph.
Jamal Williams had been wildly inconsistent, would shoot 4 for 9 and then go 2 for 11. In the 3 games he's come off the bench, 7 of 11, 4 of 9, 7 of 17. And then tonight, 3 of 7. Another Washington foul called. Romar talking it over with the lead official, Mark Reichling.
We got a little poke in the eye here.
That's what it is, an injury situation. Brandon Roy is not the guy you like to see get popped in the face like that.
Marcel Jones for the Beavers. Ryan Appleby for the Huskies.
Appleby
Jones
comes onto the floor to replace his injured captain, the senior out of Garfield High School in Seattle. Appleby has made a nice impression after transferring from the University of Florida, native of Stanwood, Washington.
And he lit him up for Stanwood and went to Florida. Didn't get a chance to play, but he's found his home on Montlake.
Jensen snatches the inbounds pass away from DeWitt. Appleby double team. Jensen cleans it up and then goes baseline. Chewich's rebound. Marcel Jones off the glass. DeWitt can't collar the rebound. Jensen starts Detman in transition. Appleby bothered by Jones into the Washington bench. We think that Brandon Roy may have been injured by his own teammate. Watch the upper right portion of your screen.
Yeah, it looked like he and Bobby Jones collided, and Brandon got the worst of it. It'll be interesting to see how Washington operates. Brandon Roy, such the center of their offense. He makes everything happen. Let's see who can step up here.
Appleby stumbles, bounces it for Williams, floating one and missing. Battle in the corner.
Again, second chance opportunities. Washington quick to the basketball.
Williams, tough shot over Chewich, draws the foul. He'll go to the free throw line. Sasha Chewich, 13 points, 4 rebounds, doing what he can for the Beavers.
Again, Jamal Williams is so crafty with his back to the basket, and he has no problem playing against bigger people.
Double-digit scoring all 3 of his games off the bench.
Soccer Rockets and Leslie Washington, second in row SU, Brett Casey and Chris Stevens.
Here's Jones. Off the glass and in.
Caught Washington napping a little bit. Marcel Jones can really run the floor.
Jensen with the show and go. Detman pushed out by Wesley Washington. Appleby makes it a 14-point ball game. Washington's largest lead of the night.
He's a cold-hearted killer from the three-point line, Ryan Appleby.
Jewich bothered by Jones and Jensen. DeWitt commits the offensive foul. Bobby Jones set his feet. DeWitt hesitated and paid the price. Washington has doubled its lead here in the first 5 minutes of the second half. Jay John's Beavers have been outscored 14-7 to start the second half. They now trail by 14. Stay tuned after the game for FSN Live. We'll have the complete breakdown of tonight's action from here in Corvallis. Plus, tonight at 10, Brad Adam has the latest on the Mariners at spring training. Can you believe, Bill Kruger, that
they're already at it?
Whatever happened to pitchers and catchers showed up like the last week of February and everybody else got going in March?
That spring training's big business. They get started early down there.
Brandon Roy back in the ball game now. Calls Appleby over. They're going to run a set play that I think must involve Appleby. Needed him to break the pressure. Denton to Jamal Williams. That's 3 Huskies who have touched the ball, have had trouble controlling it. Inside 10 to shoot. Washington, Roy inside to Williams. You can count that one. Jamal Williams
really making his presence felt this half. He's been the guy that's picked up the scoring when Brandon's been out.
He get a piece of that one on the glass at the other end. He's got 10 points, his 4th consecutive double-digit game since he started coming off the bench. Jewich for Jeffers.
Wasn't there.
Double teamed. Jeffers knocks Appleby down as they start to head back up court.
Again, you see the ball reversal, and Brandon, a nice little baseline bounce pass to his teammate Jamal Williams, who had nice inside position with the jump hook. Brandon Roy is a complete basketball player. He does everything well, and that's going to serve him well at the next level, because he's going to play at the next level.
The turnover numbers.
Nothing surprising there, and I think the one thing that's difficult is you just can't emulate what Washington does defensively. You just can't emulate it.
Sakarakis saves it for the Beavers. Nice pass for the oop and the jam. Washington to Jones.
Wesley Washington's played well. He needs to be on the floor. He's made good decisions. He's made some good passes. That was a heck of a feat.
Been D'ing up too.
Yep, he's played well.
Good movement by the Huskies. Back outside to Appleby for 3.
If you're guarding Ryan Appleby, you can't help, because you give him space, he's going to make it. Sakarakis goes into the key to help and leaves him wide open. It's money.
3 of 4. Appleby is all 3-pointers, 9 points. Pass floated in for Jeffers, knocked away. Chewich saves, can't finish, but there's Jeffers with the offensive rebound and the putback.
A little high-low action. When they can get the ball in the paint, Oregon State's going to be in business. They haven't gotten there enough times.
Roy straight to the glass and in, left-handed no less. Brandon Roy.
You know he wants to go left. You know he wants to bounce it in the key, and no help.
Denton tips the ball away from Washington. Brandon Roy now his 7th consecutive 20-point game.
How about that? And we talked about him as a player of the year candidate in the Pac-10. I think he's legit. The only thing that's going to stand in his way is Leon Poe down in California. Well, he's going to score more.
That's right. Although they get
they
get beat today by Arizona State. Not that. USC, Oregon State, now Cal. DeWitt's long deuce. But right back at you. Smith leads for Williams. Reverses, can't finish. Stevens the rebound. DeWitt will try it for 3. Is a little bit long. Appleby's rebound, throws it ahead to Williams. Had Jones backside, didn't need it. Now this pace, Bill, favors Washington.
That's what happens when you shoot the three-point shot and you get the long bounce rebound, and Washington's off and running.
Chewich now has 15 on 6 of 7 shooting. It's a preview of the NBA All-Star game, I think. Appleby's 4th triple of the night.
Too late. That's what Ryan's saying. Too late. You're too late. I'm going to knock it down.
Jay John needs time. Huskies are on a roll, threatening now to run the Beavers off of Ralph Miller Court in Corvallis. Pac-10 ball and FSN. Brian Davis and Bill Kruger in Corvallis. Washington with the 18-point lead. Our Red Lobster, nothing but net shot of the game. Ryan Appleby playing a little string music tonight.
Yeah, he just messing around at that 19-9 line, knocking them down like they're layups. 4 or 5 from the distance. Yeah, he's nothing but net, no doubt about it. And their teammates, the teammates are looking for him. He's really learned how to be a catch-and-shoot player. No bounce. You've got other guys that can create off the dribble in this team, and Ryan Appleby plays his role perfectly.
Oregon State has turned the ball over 5 times this half. Washington has not committed a turnover.
Oregon State switches to the 2-3 zone right here. Huskies can be patient.
It's exactly what Lorenzo Romar wanted them to be. Everybody has touched the ball. Smith to Roy. Spins away from Jeffers and knocks it down. Tough shot. Great move by Brandon Roy.
He is such a great in-between game, and he can really post up and shoot over people.
9 of 15. 5 rebounds, 7 assists. Casey stumbles.
Washington doing a great job of closing out.
McGillis for 3. Won't fall. Jack McGillis, freshman from Missoula, Montana, getting a taste. Roy walking it up. 7 assists, 9's his career high. Again with Brockman on the bench with 4 fouls. Picked up 3 in the first half and 1 in the first minute or so of the second half. So Huskies have had to go a little smaller.
It really hasn't been a factor. You know, Denton was in foul trouble the first half. Brockman, you know, key players, but it didn't deter him at all.
DeWitt with the steal. Looking for McGillis underneath. And then cleans it up for his freshman.
He really needed to trade the ball, and he'd have got the layup if DeWitt would have traded it at the before the 3-point line.
DeWitt with 12 points on 5 of 8 shooting. He's got 6 rebounds as well. Alley-oop. Roy to Smith.
A little design play and a perfect lob pass from Brandon Roy.
Stevens driving baseline and is fouled by Appleby. No shot. take a look at Brandon Roy's 8th assist of the night.
Here we see the high pick from Gasser. Joel Smith going back door. Brandon Roy with the perfect alley-oop. And that is 8 dimes for Brandon Roy.
Again, 1 shy of his career high. DeWitt's traveled with the basketball. That is
Nick DeWitt is a very talented basketball player, but I think what has hurt him more than anything is what we talked about, is the fact that he just hasn't stayed one place very long. And I think all that transition from one school to the next, from Utah Valley State to Iowa to JC, has affected his consistency.
Started at Iowa, went to Utah Valley, went to Mesa Community College outside Phoenix, but didn't play there, and then wound up here. Gasser along the baseline, a little bit long. Roy's rebound, and he is fouled.
Beaver's foul, number 14, Jack McGillis.
McGillis got him.
His first personal, 16 foul.
He'll sit.
Washington checking in the lineup for the Beavers.
Next
Jack
foul
McGillis.
puts Washington in the 1-and-1 bonus.
Washington just so quick to the basketball. That's just the telling part of this game.
Wish you could get a close-up of Mike Jensen. It looks like Popeye trying to motion Gasser over to the top of the key. Washington extending the defense. Inside 10 to shoot. Denton tries to spin, double team, forces a poor shot, but look who comes away with it. Jensen, the ball tips off of an Oregon State player. Washington's basketball, but with 2 seconds on the shot clock. Well, you know, he could be working on a triple-double here, Billy.
Yep.
Roy, just a little bit long. The rebound knocked away by Jensen.
He could have grabbed that ball on the other side of half court. There was no possession.
That's exactly right. Stevens for 3 is short. Smith with Washington laying off at the end because he didn't want to be in the poster.
I'll tell you what, Joel Smith is an electric athlete. He can shoot the 3. He suffers because of their personnel. It's hard for him to get on the floor. A lot of places he'd be playing a lot of minutes.
No shot. Smith 3 of 4 shooting, including a 3-pointer, and he has helped the Huskies build a 22-point lead. I think the youngin on the right has learned to play the camera just a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Get the Blondie into the act as well. Welcome back to Corvallis. Brandon Roy, you know, a triple-double is not out of the question.
And a 40-minute college game is not easy to do. And here with his career-tying 9th dime, and Joel Smith with the big flush on the break. He's a complete basketball player. There's a lot to like about him. I really like his game. You know, and he's really paid his dues. You know, he could have been an all-league performer before this, but injury and really patience because of other stars in this program. Brandon Roy's star is really starting to shine.
Can you imagine what it would have been like for both Roy and for the Washington program had he stayed in the draft in 2002? Look at the defense on Washington. Now, DeWitt can't corral it, tried to tip in, and then for the rebound, and was beaten to the ball by Gasser and Denton. Remember,
just quicker to the ball.
Brandon Roy declared for the 2002 NBA draft and then withdrew from it. Brilliant decision.
Yes.
Look at that. Scored. Put him on the line for the 3-point play. Brandon Roy with 24 points.
Look at this terrific spin move, drop step, gets between the defense. He's so strong, able to finish that off the glass.
79% free throw shooter. Do a little dreaming here. He leads the Big Ten in conference games. 22.5 points. Poe from California leads overall, but only by about a half a point coming into the game. Washington has not had a conference scoring champion since Louis Nelson in 1972-73. Just dream a little bit.
Sure.
If you're a Husky fan.
Sure. Well, the thing is that Leon Poe has to score for California to win. Big, big. Does Brandon Roy need to score big for the Huskies to win? No. Is he capable? Absolutely. But what he does is all the other things. Passing, defense, rebounding, making other guys better. And he plays with such great control.
Mike Jensen has been a real nice addition. Jensen coming off of shoulder surgery. I asked him yesterday, I said, you have all your strength back? And he says, yeah, I've got my strength. He says, but you know what? If you poke me in the shoulder, I can't feel it. Look at that, though. Sets up and did hit a 3 earlier in the ball game. Roy with the rebound, which is his 8th. Keep that triple-double thing going.
Right.
Offensive rebounding has been huge. Look at the pass to Gasser. No finish, but Roy with the tip. They give him a rebound for that? I don't think they did. They did not. Could have given him a rebound and a shot attempt. He's 10 of 17. Artem Wallace has not played in a very long time. Hasn't played, in fact, in 10 of the last 11 games. Jensen has a seat. Brandon Roy, I think, is done for the night. Hey, what the heck?
Chance for some of these other guys to get some playing time, and Brandon's done his thing.
Stays with the Beavers. Brandon Roy, 25 points, has tied his career high with assists, 8 rebounds. Yeah, not a bad effort, huh?
Pretty darn good.
Here's Chewich, out of control. Dittman ahead for Jones. Man, what vision! And Justin Dittman, the freshman.
Huskies great in transition. They can really run the floor.
Sakarakis loses control, leaves DeWitt's outside for 3. It's Longhart and Wallace, the freshman from Toledo, Washington, native of St. Petersburg, Russia. Takes the pass from Burmeister. Justin Dittman, you know, here's a guy who committed a disastrous mistake, and Wallace is called for the foul. Dittman committed a disastrous mistake, cost him a ball game at Stanford, but boy, he is back with a vengeance.
Yeah, I think he's done a great job for being a freshman point guard in this league and really having no other support out front. I mean, he's had to carry the load. Yeah, he made the poor foul decision against Stanford, but he's rallied nicely.
Well, one of the things that Romar said is that his teammates picked him up. He said, make no mistake, they were really angry with him after he committed the foul outside the arc, put the guy on the line for a 3-point free throw situation, and the guy made them all. And Stanford winds up winning in overtime. And Romar said it took the teammates a couple of days to get over, but then after that, they stayed with him, didn't freeze him out. Chewich scores again. But they brought Dittman back into the fold and helped him to get over that mistake. Look at that. Coast to coast, thank you very much.
Well, I love his game. I mean, he plays with great control. He's strong. He's shown me that he can make good decisions.
Wallace got a piece of that. Dittman for Wallace. Wallace needed to go up a little faster than that. Chewich actually, I thought he got all ball, but he's called for the personal foul, so Artem Wallace will go to the free throw line. But this young guy will learn. He great size that has not grown into his body yet. He played 9 of the first 10 games, and as I mentioned, has missed 10 of the last 11.
Well, you go from Toledo High School, Class A basketball, to the Pac-10, and then you're playing sparingly. You know, that's a big step. Obviously, he's learning a lot playing in practice, growing as a player, and you're right, he's got a big body. I'm sure that the Husky staff like him and feel like he can grow and be a good player.
6 of 17 now on free throws. Look at Jones making the effort after hauling down the offensive rebound to get back to the rack, and he'll go to the free throw line.
Beavers foul on Nick DeWitt, his third, 19.
Washington has just been killing the Beavers.
Yeah, I mean, they're too quick to the ball. They're relentless in their efforts. The second half, they did a much better job of rotating on defense and not fouling as much. And I really think this guy is such an underrated player. They're the faithful up there,
just
having
like
some fun. Yeah,
on the free throws.
A little corner of purple up there, but Bobby Jones is a player that is unsung. I mean, he can play for anybody in the country. He's active. He can guard anybody. He attacks the glass. He can now shoot the three-point shot. I'd love Bobby Jones.
Jones with 13, or rather, check that, 12 points. Had a game-high 16 against Oregon State on January 19th at the Bank of America Arena in Seattle. Casey is blocked by Brandon Burmeister. Burmeister off the glass. Left-handed finish.
Burmeister.
Pretty good high school player. Decided to walk on at Washington. Washington benefits. He's a great practice player and shows he can play at this level.
Timeout, Oregon State. 30-second timeout.
Timeout is taken by Jay John with 3.5 minutes remaining. Remember, coming up after the game, FSN Live. Look at Burmeister.
Now, he's a really good high school player. A big guard that can handle the point. You know, you just keep hanging around the program and keep working hard. You're going to get your opportunities. They look great in practice today. It's just that this Washington club is loaded, and there's not too many opportunities. If Mr. Burmeister was in orange and black, he'd be playing some minutes.
That's exactly right. Washington is going to win its 20th game of the season. Back-to-back 20-win seasons for the first time since 1984-85. Marcel Jones chased by Zane Potter. If we were back in Seattle, the fans would be going crazy because Zane Potter is in the ball game, and everybody's got one they love, and Potter's that guy for Washington. Huskies by 21. College basketball on FSN is brought to you by Dodge. Grab life by the horns. We actually have the horn section right in front of us here at the scorer's table. Bob Burmeister, Brandon's dad, played football on the Mountain Lake Cut back in the day, and with Brandon coming in and showing a little something, giving Bob something to smile about. How about the Huskies? 34 rebounds, 14 of them on the offensive glass. They have taken 63 field goal attempts to 42 for the Beavers.
They're a relentless offensive rebounding team, and that's with their best rebounder, Brockman, effectively not playing in the ball game because of foul trouble.
He's actually in the game now in garbage time.
But Bobby Jones and Brandon Roy, I mean, those guys are just electric rebounders. They have a nose for the ball. They're quick off their feet. They're not big. They can slither in the gaps and make things happen.
NBA ball on FSN in the Seattle market. Sonics pick it up after the All-Star break at San Antonio. 4 games in 5 nights. San Antonio, Atlanta, an off day, then Orlando, Miami. My God, the month of February has just been killer. 10 of 14 roadies for the Sonics.
It's fun to see the new player, Mr. Wilcox, play a little bit.
Yeah, no doubt about it. They need a point guard now. Here's Brockman's rebound. And, oh, man, the guy he's going up against. Take a look at big Liam Hughes in there for Oregon State. 7'3", 320 pounds of yeser.
That's eating a lot of space right there,
He
boy.
speaks to you. That's the proper response. Yes, sir. No, sir. Out of Holbridge, England. A lot of times guys come from England or Europe and they've played soccer. I don't think so.
No. Well,
there's Zane Potter.
you just put him in front of the goal.
He might have been the goal.
Space.
Huskies are still working. Back to 80 points. Mentioned they'd hit 80 once in their last 9 games off the air ball from Burmeister. Brockman with the finish.
Was that an assist?
I think so. Also on Tuesday, the Trailblazers get back into it, and south of the Columbia River and in the Blazers markets, you will see Nate McMillan and company take on the Los Angeles Lakers. Kobe Bryant and everybody else. Michael Johnson for 3. Knocks it down. That's kind of nice because he's the son of Steve Johnson, who has had his number retired here at Oregon State and went on to a great career in the NBA.
And boy, was he a great college player.
Appleby's 5th three-pointer. One off his high. There's Steve Johnson right there.
Set the record, field goal percentage record. It was something outrageous in the mid-60s. I know that.
How many score on you?
I stayed away from Mr. Johnson.
Oh, I thought you were taking the 5th. Oh.
No, we had it. We beat him. We beat him in 1979. They went to #1 that year.
You didn't beat him in 80-81.
No, we didn't. We beat him in 79-80. They were pretty good that year too.
But they won their first 26 games. Brockman steps inside the three-point line. Wallace with another rebound. Rebounding at halftime. Hughes commits the foul. Rebounding at halftime was reasonably close. Washington has dominated in the second half. Wallace getting a chance to work on his free throws here.
Yep. Well, these guys are, this last 6 minutes have been a real nice opportunity for the bench to get out there and play a little bit. And I'll tell you what, they've outplayed the Beavers. They played hard. The bench done a good job.
It was a 7-point game at halftime. 44-37. So you do the math on the totals you see up there on the Fox box at the top of your screen. Johnson has his shot. Well, thought he blocked the shot, but he no, committed the foul.
Michael Johnson is first person.
Good step in, draw the charge.
He's a junior, went to City Christian High School in Portland, broke his foot at the beginning of the year and has only played in 5 games. Now 6. Potter, count it. They'll be howling on the Montlake Cut, and they're howling in the cheap seats as Potter knocks down a three-pointer. Sakarakis tries to answer. Zane Potter has just tied his career high with 3 points on that basket.
These guys that walk on and give their time in the program. It's nice to see him get rewarded, get some minutes, make some shots.
Did it in his home state too. Where's Boring?
He played. It's out east of the town at Barlow High School. It's Gresham, out that direction.
Halftime rebounding, 17-13. It's now 38-27. Sakarakis is a little bit long. Potter battling for the rebound, but you can put this one in the books. McGillis banks off the long deuce. Washington will go to 20-5, 9-5 in the Pac-10. Remember, Cal had its 6-game winning streak broken today in double overtime by Arizona State. Oregon State will fall to 11-15, 4-10 in the Pac-10, and into a last place tie with Arizona State after that victory over California. Winds up to be a 33-point victory for Lorenzo Romar and the Huskies as they make it 20 wins in consecutive seasons for the first time in 20 years plus. Brandon Roy will be our guest when we return. Huskies over the Beavers 96-63 tonight in Corvallis.